super excited to partner with True Diligence. We've actually been working together for over 2 years, and they have over 30 years in the business, thousands of clients, 81 five-star reviews on Google. You can go check that out. And USA-based support. And it's really about streamlining and saving time and money. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. I'm very excited to be joined today by Kathy Houlihan, CEO of Dream to Career. And we're going to be talking about 3 keys to improved talent development and productivity today. How are you doing, Kathy?
I'm doing awesome. Thanks for having me today, Andy.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming on with me. It was fun talking offline. And this is a really awesome topic. I love it. And I wanted to just start with going back a ways. So tell me a little bit about your career, your background, and then what led to Dream to Career.
Yeah, well, I've worked in higher education for over 20 years, and unfortunately, what I see, or what I used to see, and what I still see, is that students they go through, they graduate, and then they still have no idea what they want to do. They have resources and opportunities that are available to them, but they don't necessarily make that work-learn connection. And so that's really what Dream to Career is about. It's about inspiring hope, and getting people to kind of be passionate about what they do. And so honestly love the idea of helping to create that connection between work and learn, and getting people excited about what they're doing. And so that's really kind of where it all came from.
Absolutely. I remember when I graduated college and we had a career planning placement center, there were all these different career paths, sort of, like, oh, I could go work over here as an engineer, or I could go over here and work in analytics, or over here in a lab. And I'm like, I don't know, really. So I think having some kind of forethought in what you want to do and having a development path is extremely important. So let's just talk about kind of recent trends. What are some of the things you've seen in the talent development arena in recent years?
Well, I mean, it's the problem is just being exacerbated. If you look at a recent Gallup poll, 8.8 trillion is lost in productivity due to disengagement, worker disengagement. So people are just basically going through the motions, and this is not what we need. We
Right.
need people who are kind of interested. They come in with a growth mindset, and that they're actually motivated to do their job. And again, that comes from them understanding what it is they want to do, and then being able to apply it to their job each and every day. I also think that, that if we can get more young people watching broadcasts like The Green Path, or even Career Changers, the idea is that they've got to get good quality information that kind of gets them excited and gets them to understand not just how to make the widget, but what it is that they're doing and how it fits into the big picture. And I think, that's the problem. We spend too much time on social media, which is, really there's no informational value, there's no content in that. But if we can start to get people to watch educational things and to kind of want to work and to learn and to grow, I think it's going to be much more valuable. The other thing is about shared experiences. The problem right now with online learning is the idea that people are just going through and checking a bunch of boxes. They're not really engaged with the information. And this is true even with resumes. Like, people will chug out resumes. It's almost, second nature to them, but they don't even really think if they want the job. I think that we need to start to work to create shared learning experiences that kind of bring people in, and get them motivated about learning and engaging with whatever industry they're interested in, and also giving them the opportunity to get exposure to all these different industries too, because that's the thing. You can only get exposure to a certain amount of things every day. You don't really know where it's going to fit, but again, with if we start to expose people to different ideas and different topics that are educational, that's going to go a long way to start to bring awareness to individuals about what are the opportunities. Even in supply chain, we were talking, you and I, about how many jobs there are available, and like, people don't even really know what that is sometimes. And so, how many did you say? Do you remember, Andy, when we were
Well,
talking?
there are 44 million people that work in supply chain in the United States alone,
Dang.
and many, many thousands of job wrecks at any point in time. for sure. I mean, probably hundreds of thousands, but there's for sure many, many thousands that are always available at any one point in time. But like you said, what is it, right? And You got to decide, is that a fit, right, with where you're headed in life or not? And I've been very fortunate in my career. I've kind of had several careers, honestly. I've had engineering right out of school. Then it turned into business development. And then I did contract negotiations for a number of years. They're all tied together, but it's kind of like chapters of a book in my opinion. And every time for me, fortunately, I had a friend that would tell me, "Hey, this is what this job is about. Like, what do you think?" Right? But that's because I had an inside person there. Otherwise, I really wouldn't have known. I
It's so
wouldn't have.
true.
I would have maybe applied and gone, "Oh, wow, when I get there, this is what this is all about." Oh my goodness. But fortunately for me, I had some people on the inside kind of coaching me a little bit. So,
Yep. And that really is what it's about. It's about building that network. And if you think about it, like as a business trying to connect with customers, customers connect with people they know, like, and trust. We need to think about that in the talent space. The idea that we're there to support these individuals, the people that are going to work for us, the people that do work for us, and start to create these learning communities that are all about making, whatever the mission is, so everybody understands their value in that setting. I always like to think of it like a Major League, right? Major League. I don't know if you saw that movie, but the idea is that you have this team of misfits, and they just don't work. And the reason they were hired is because they don't work. But as they start to get around that same value proposition, we don't want to be replaced, which is basically what they're trying to do. They're able to win the whole championship, the World Series, because of that, and teams could do that if they start to do that, if they start to collaborate and understand each other. Even though I don't throw a fastball, I need to know kind of where to position myself when those fastballs are coming in. Understanding each other's value for the organization is what really makes any organization successful. And we're all on that path, like you were speaking to, about learning and growing and becoming the best versions of ourselves. We all want to be the GOAT. We all want to be the greatest of all time in whatever it is that we do. And if we start to think about our career in that way, you can find value in any position that you have for the organization if you start to look at that, and what you're lending to the organization. So yeah, but it's exciting. The trends in education need to, people look at education like it's a bad thing, but it needs to be not just a bunch of checking boxes, but actually creating an environment where people want to work, learn, and grow.
right, right, absolutely. So, with companies um, that you've seen that are successful in this arena, what are some of those like keys to success? What can they do?
I think the first thing they need to do is stop thinking about filling a position. Just, filling a position to get a warm body in there, somebody who has the credentials. No, you have to think about this as a talent pipeline. And the idea is that people bring different facets to the job. And if we stop looking at just like filling a rec and start to look at the problem and how you can integrate somebody into the organization, trying to gamify things, try to make it so that people are happy and they want to come to work every day. It's going to revolutionize your organization, and it doesn't mean just activities. I mean, if you can set up a learning plan where everybody's learning the same kind of information. I look at cybersecurity right now. According to Project Spectrum, 75% of problems with cybersecurity are because of user error. People don't know that they should be doing this or that with the systems. It's not the system itself. And so if you have, a scheduled training where everybody is learning, in this case, cybersecurity, and everybody is involved in that conversation, you can start to develop information, but also policy around ways that you handle different projects and problems. Instead of just sending them off to a training or giving somebody an online course, try to think about how you can synthesize that information into the organization. And you can also build those pipelines with the educational institutions that are in your area. Who is it that is providing good stuff? What schools are the ones that are providing the most prepared individuals, and work with them. Make sure that they're integrating what you need into their curriculum at all levels. And that I think is going to go a long way towards solving this work learn problem and the motivation, most importantly, because you can learning, who is it? I think Einstein said, knowledge is experience. Learning is just information, and so, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you need to really think about being able to synthesize the information. I actually said that backwards. It's right. It's
I think you got it right. I feel like you got it right.
yeah,
Knowledge is experience, right?
exactly.
Yeah, it's
Exactly. Yeah.
being in it and doing it. That's where you really do gain the knowledge, I think. And if you can immerse yourself on the front end of knowing what's coming, I think you're much, much more prepared for what's the job actually is. These job recs, they say responsibilities, no Microsoft, no PowerPoint, no this, no that. And you're like, okay, but what is this doing to contribute to the company? Honestly, on a lot of job recs, it's indistinguishable as to what it is exactly that it's contributing to. And in my experiences of looking at job recs and things. A lot of them are just non-descriptive as far as what does it do to move the company forward, you know? So I think it's really important. And we all want to belong and feel secure. And if we don't really know what that looks like, then it's even worse, right? It looks like a job that's here for a while. Hopefully it stays, It's kind of what it looks like from the outside looking in.
A module rather than a piece of the whole, like we have to really start to think about the holistic process and really what is the organization trying to do? Because if you say our goal is to win the World Series, then everybody could get in line. They know, we need to do this and this is what we need to do. And they understand their value. They know as the catcher what they need to do and what their role is. I think that that's really important to kind of define those things. And that way you're able to motivate an entire team to do things you never could have gotten them to do before.
Right. So on the flip side of success, what would you say from either the talent side or the corporate side? What are some of the pitfalls to avoid, things that you see out there?
Uh, I would say again, just the idea of thinking that you just need a warm body
Right.
instead of looking at the opportunity to reimagine the entire workforce and treating somebody as oh they're just a widget maker is not going to do anything to solve your problems. It's all really about creating a culture of learning, one that is inspired, and that people can feel like they want to be part of it. Because if you think about the problem, today, okay, I need a widget maker, and you're going to have the same problem tomorrow because they're not going to stick around. You're going to have problems with retention. And, it really is important to create an environment where, people have confidence in what they're doing and that they feel that they're part of that organization. So if you don't do that, you're just going to keep having the same problem. It's impossible to find motivated, qualified workers. And that is because we haven't developed a talent pipeline that feeds the system. Everybody has the same problem, and I've worked with people from various industries. You can work in the manufacturing, and they want to go to AI because they don't want to deal with the issues in terms of dealing with people. But that's not really the solution necessarily. It shouldn't be just get rid of talent because it's not going to work in the long run. You need people who are going to be able to move the organization forward. I've worked with some companies and the machines are down more than they're up. They're not at the point that it's useful to look at that as a standalone model. You're always going to need people, and it's important to develop this talent pipeline because in the long run, they're going to outperform these machines. I mean, and I know the machines can do parts of it, but that's just a tool. It's just a tool. It's not the whole organization that, can be replaced in a lot of, I mean, in some cases it will, but for most organizations, you're still going to need people. And so you should look for ways to start to innovate and reimagine your talent pipeline as much as you're looking at ways to create, artificial intelligence to kind of replace them. I mean, at least put a side project together that's going to, look at that, because I think in the long run it's going to be an opportunity that you can really separate yourself from your competitors in a way that you're supporting your community and adding value rather than just chugging out widgets in terms of that. It's something that's more, it's meaningful, and people are happy and excited, and you're supporting not only the workers but also your community through that model.
Right. Yeah, and I've seen this huge push in AI, and it's good for certain things like automating routine tasks. But as far as setting strategy and moving the entire company forward, it's not that. It's just not. It can take a lot of information and process things. But as far as I think we should do this versus we need this strategy because of this, that's not, what that is ever going to do. So I think that there's a great opportunity for using talent in a better way. And so this is a question I ask all of my guests, high level. What would you say as a final word of advice for our listeners or people watching out there?
Start to think about ways to reimagine education and integrate it in with your process of talent development. Use local in addition to online, in addition to AI. Think of ways that you can connect people to what you're doing. It's not only going to improve your applicant response as your people who want to apply for your jobs, but it's going to improve your brand. And the idea that you are a company that is supporting your not only your industry but your community, uh, it's going to bring you customers that you never thought were there. Once your name gets out there in that way, in the way that you're supporting, uh, the community, and you're supporting education, supporting learners, uh, and getting them to be productive in society. Is it just makes it a great place to work. I mean, I've worked at organizations that have this value proposition, the idea that education is important, the learning mindset, and it's great to go to work. You don't even mind. You don't even think that you're working every day. It's just such a great experience when you can create that kind of team that supports each other despite your differences. The idea that you're contributing value to the organization, and it's not the guys or the girls in the office and the guys on the floor or whatever. I mean, you get this language that you're us against them type mentality that isn't going to help anybody. It really needs to be about we're all pulling towards the same goal, and our mission is whatever it is for the organization, and we're going to support it. And the best way to do that is to incorporate learning and a growth and educational pipeline that is local into your mix, into your talent management philosophy and strategy.
Right. Well, great words of advice. Thanks for coming on today, Kathy. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks again for having me, Andy. It was great. And keep up the great work at Green Path. I mean, you guys, I've seen your videos. They are inspirational, if nothing less. So thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Well, that's going to do it for our show today. Thanks for listening or watching, everybody. And we will see you again on the next one. Take care.